Hi, everyone. We are going to talk about your Patriotic Rhetoric Then and Now assignment. This assignment is due at the end of the Revolutionary Americans module. However, I would recommend you start working on it as you work through each lesson in the module, and I'll talk a little bit more about why in just a moment. But just so we all have a clear understanding of what rhetoric is the specific language that writers will use to persuade or entice their readers or their audience to act or to change their way of thinking or to just do something that they want them to do. And rhetoric is something that we see very, very frequently in our foundational documents that we've read in text from the Revolutionary Americans module. So what you guys are going to do for this assignment is you're going to create a poster or a slideshow of a couple of different rhetorical devices that we found in foundational documents, and you're going to provide some modern day examples of those as well, just to give us a clear understanding of how rhetoric looks or how these rhetorical devices look in different texts across centuries. So let's talk about exactly what you're going to do. So you guys will see here that in step one, it tells you to choose 3 rhetorical devices. You're actually only going to choose 2. Again, you only have to choose 2 rhetorical devices. So any 2 of these devices that you would like to work with for this assignment, they're yours to choose. Okay? So now that we have that done, you are going to select example passages from foundational documents that support those 2 rhetorical devices you chose. So this is the part that I would really recommend you think about as you are working through the lessons. So if you have decided you want to work with rhetorical question and analogy, that's awesome. As you're working through the lesson, if you see examples of rhetorical questions and analogies, I want you to copy and paste those or maybe make a note of where you found them. That'll save you some time later on when you go to complete this assignment. So you will need to find one example of each rhetorical device from the foundational documents that we'll read in this module. So the third thing you're going to do is you're going to find a contemporary or a modern day example of that rhetorical device. And that doesn't mean you have to go check out a bunch of modern day books from the library and hunt down different examples. You could probably just do a Google search and find some good one-liners or maybe even a couple of sentences or maybe even a paragraph of a contemporary example. You really just want to make sure it's something that's written recently. So probably within the last 20 to 30 years or so. Okay. The next thing you will do for this assignment is you're going to write some instructions or explanation or a definition of your rhetorical device. I honestly think that the easiest thing you can do here is just provide the definition. You can find this in the lessons, or you can find a definition in on Google as well. So that's the easiest thing to do for step 4. However, if you have a specific strategy or idea that's kind of helped you identify that rhetorical device in other works of literature or in other contexts, you absolutely can include that information as well. But at bare minimum, you'll need to provide the definition of that rhetorical device. So the very last thing you'll do is you're going to combine all of this information from steps 1 through 4, and you're going to create a poster. Now you can do that in Google Docs or Google Slides, or if you have access to these super nice design programs like Adobe Photoshop or things like that, you can use that. But at bare minimum, I think Google Docs and Google Slides are really easy to work with and will allow you to complete this part of the assignment. So you're basically just going to take all of this information and you're going to combine it in a poster that would look really nice and appealing and helpful for high school students. So think like 9th through 12th graders, your own classroom peers. So for example, this is kind of just a bare bones example of what your poster will look like. I have my rhetorical device here. I will put my definition here. I have my one example of a foundational text. I have my one example of a contemporary text. And if I have a title and an author for those examples, I definitely want to list those as well. Okay. That's at bare minimum all you need to have. However, I really want you guys to go above and beyond that. Be creative. Find some images online, or you can draw your own images that really bring your poster to life. Think about it. Put yourself in this situation. If you were in a classroom and you saw a poster that looked just like this, do you think that would be super appealing? Do you think you would really want to read it? I don't know about you, but I think I would probably pass on that. So really use your creativity here, think outside the box, play with the background, play with different texts, and really make your message and your poster pop. Okay? So once you have done that for your 2 rhetorical devices, I want you to go up to the share button, and we'll make sure that our share settings are set to services.live. Sometimes they automatically set to restricted. I can't view your assignment if it's set to restricted, so please make sure down here it is set to services.live. And once we're done with that, we are ready to submit.